If you want to exist in my country, then you have to sell to my country. Normally, for the US government to step in and ban something from their market, that thing should pose a very credible threat or should have already caused some harm to people. And TikTok, to some extent, ticks both boxes. TikTok has been so good that ever since it came onto the market, a lot of people have migrated from all the other apps to use TikTok. It has become their main source of news, entertainment, and everything else. Just constantly scrolling the app and watching young people dance. And leaving people with what has been now termed the TikTok brain. In other words, this app has significantly decreased people's attention spans. A lot of people have come to expect this type of fast-paced content from every other social media company. These apps decided to integrate that type of content into their platforms. But as we all know, of all of them, the most effective and addictive is TikTok. And in there is where the US first problem with TikTok is. You see, all of the social media apps we use take our data. Before you are allowed to use the app, you agree to share your data, like your location, and in some instances, your browsing habits and your device information, which can be used to track everything you do online. Every app on your phone does this. And most of the apps that we use on our phones every day are made by US companies, except TikTok. TikTok is owned by a Chinese company known as ByteDance. And TikTok is also the most effective at collecting data and using it to curate that addictive experience that people get on TikTok. When you like one video of a football, the next thing you know, you are seeing more and more content about football, and eventually you may be introduced to pages that are selling footballs. So that is one of the things that makes TikTok an extremely powerful company. But as we know, the US wants to control everything. The US has made itself the leader of the rest of the world, and most of the time what they want to happen around the world is what happens. So they really did not like the idea that a Chinese company was taking the data of American people. And if you know anything about the relationship between China and the US, it's not the very best.
Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay?
So let's talk about the fears the US has. And the first is the influence the Chinese government could have on the app. There isn't a lot of freedom in China as there is in the USA. That is known. The government of China is extremely strict and even polices the type of apps that they use on their phone. In 2017, a law was passed that requires every company in China to cooperate with government intelligence requests. And that is troubling because there's that fear that the government of China could take all the data on Americans and use it against them in one way or the other. And since America literally has zero control over one of the biggest apps in the world, they cannot control the type of content displayed on the app. Worst case scenario, the Chinese government can influence TikTok and show propaganda and false narratives to people. And this could really influence people's opinions, their views, and paint whatever image of America to its own citizens. Now let's move on to the second thing, what TikTok did not do. You see, because of all these potential threats, the US gave TikTok an opportunity to exist in America, which is to sell to an American company. If you want to exist in my country, then you have to sell to my country. And that was the deal. If TikTok did not sell within a stipulated time, then they were going to be banned out of the USA, which is arguably their biggest market. And that was back in August 2020. So 5 years later, they have not sold. And in 2 days, if they still haven't sold to an American company, TikTok may be gone forever. So what do you think? Do you think the US government is being a bit too paranoid, or TikTok is an actual threat which needed to be dealt with? And that's about it. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Almost at 1,000 subscribers, so subscribe if you haven't already. You can tap here to see how Drake is trying to win his rap beef with Kendrick Lamar in court. It's very crazy. Watch here. Bye bye.